Let's talk about something that might feel a little close to home. We're issuing a wake-up call today for Nigerian businesses because there's this silent problem that's holding back so many successful companies, and it all comes down to payment habits. It's something that has a huge impact on growth and, yeah, even on sustainability.
All right, let's just dive right in. We're going to start with a quick check-in, and I really want you to be honest with yourself here as we look at some of the most common and also riskiest business practices out there.
So just take a second and think about your own operations. I'm about to run through a few things that happen all the time. Do any of these sound a little too familiar?
You know what's wild is how normal these things feel. If you nodded your head to even one of these, you are definitely not alone. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. While they might be common, every single one of these is a crack in your business's foundation. It's actively holding you back from being able to scale up.
And look, let's be real, these habits don't come from a bad place. Not at all. They usually come from this very understandable desire to be cautious, right? For a founder to want to keep a close eye on every single kobo. The irony, though, is that this hands-on approach, it actually creates these massive bottlenecks and just piles on the personal workload, making it nearly impossible to grow.
So this starts to build into something that's way bigger than just, being a little inefficient. We're now talking about serious strategic risks that could actually threaten your entire business.
This quote right here, it absolutely nails it. Think about it. One person, the CEO, the MD, is the entire payments department. The business literally cannot function if they're sick or traveling or even just offline for a few hours. That's not control. That is a massive vulnerability.
And here is the fundamental disconnect, right? The whole goal is to maintain control and oversight. But the reality is you're not building a fortress. You're actually building what our source material calls a silent trap that just slowly suffocates your company's potential for any real sustainable growth.
And then you have to think about the customer-facing side of all this. In today's market, clients expect instant professional service. It's just the standard. So if a customer pays you and then they have to start chasing you for a receipt, well, that creates friction. It just looks unprofessional. And that friction can quietly push even your best customers over to a competitor who just seems more organized.
Okay, so if the old way is broken, what's the alternative? Let's get into the good stuff. Let's look at the modern, secure, and honestly, surprisingly affordable solutions that are already out there for businesses in Nigeria right now. So what does a better system even look like? Well, instead of all that manual chaos, just imagine this for a second. You send out branded payment links that automatically generate receipts. Your clients can use self-service portals to pay whenever they want. You set up digital approval flows so you are no longer the bottleneck. I mean, this isn't science fiction. These are real tools you can put in place today.
Now, I know the first question is always about security, and that's a totally fair question. But the crucial thing to know is that these fintech platforms aren't the Wild West. Far from it. Many are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, they're backed by the NDIC, and they integrate perfectly with trusted gateways you already know and probably use, like Paystack and Flutterwave. These things are built for business.
I know what you might be thinking. Okay, this sounds great, but it feels like a project for next quarter, or maybe next year. Let's just take a look at why waiting might be the most expensive decision you can possibly make.
The businesses that are already making this shift, they aren't just seeing small, tiny improvements. No, they're seeing absolutely transformative results. In fact, some of them have managed to reduce their daily internal transfers by a staggering
80%. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's not just about saving time. That is freeing up your most valuable people, including yourself, to focus on strategy and growth instead of just processing payments all day long.
You know, we've seen this exact same pattern of resistance before, haven't we? Remember when businesses were hesitant about mobile banking? Or when people thought using social media for business was just a fad? Payment automation is the next big wave, and the folks who adapt now are going to gain a huge advantage, while those who wait, well, they risk getting left behind.
And here's some really good news. You do not have to overhaul your entire company overnight. You don't need some massive, complex, expensive ERP system to get started. Honestly, starting with just one small step, like simply automating your receipts with a payment link, can make a world of difference to your client's experience and your own internal workload. All right, to bring this all home, I want to leave you with one last thought that might just reframe this entire conversation for you.
Let that just sink in for a moment. As business owners, we take so much pride in being resilient, right? But what if that resilience is really just a coping mechanism for putting up with inefficiency? What if we're working so hard just to maintain these broken systems, instead of working smart to build better ones?
The world has moved on. The tools are here, they're accessible, they're secure. So the real question is it time to finally let go of those old habits that are holding you back? Is it time for your business to stop just surviving and to start truly thriving?